Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I am KRX. We're continuing on with this early access sort of playthrough and preview and first look at Farthest Frontier. Farthest Frontier. We're noticing we got a little bit of a worker issue, to be honest. Apparently, we just blinked and we looked back. We didn't have any laborers. You know, honestly, this work camp, we don't even need to be operating that work camp right now. Let's make sure we got 5 people working there. Huh. Yeah, I don't know really what happened. We went from having like 15 builders and like 10 laborers to now all of a sudden we got, I'm just going to disable this for now. This is a really nice building. A really nice, the work camp is great for getting wood and stone. But we have enough wood and stone, and we get some wood and stone just from general sort of labor stuff as well. Oh, we did. Oh. Do we? Is that part of the count? Is that part of the count? The mining that we're doing. I think we want to do this though. To be honest, I think we do want to have people mining here because this is going to become like what they. This is going to be the main way that we can actually trade, and make gold. To trade with the traveling merchants that are coming to town. So I think we probably do want to do that. Have those people working in the gold hut. Of course, we're going to build this clay hut, but we might only have one person working there, maybe none. Maybe none. We have plenty of food. Food is not really much of an issue at all. We're actually getting some spoilage, though, it's saying, which makes sense. In fact, we have so much food here. Don't keep the herbs. Keep the herbs in the storehouse. We need a second root cellar, unfortunately. And the unfortunate thing about that is it's going to be undefended. It's going to be undefended. We have too much food. Well, maybe we get a second root cellar and just put it in the defensive area. A granary only stores grain, but that's nice if we start farming grain. Yeah, let's just get a second root cellar in the main sort of storage part of town, I guess. A merchant has shown up. Let's see what they're willing to buy and such. So they are willing to buy gold nuggets. Let's say we want all gold nuggets get transferred to the trading post. And then this is our global supply, and this is what's in the trading post right now. And then we can sell this stuff as need be. This person's also selling heavy tools. We said we wanted to get a couple more heavy tools, right? We have one in the trading post right now. I'd like to get up to 3. At least 3 or 4. 3 or 4. The other primary thing that you trade for, that you have to trade for, no options about it, is the cattle. You have to trade for the cattle. Trader 1 and Trader 2, the little tabs here to flip between them. Trader 2 is willing to buy a bunch of stuff that we don't have. They are willing to sell us the cows. Dun, dun, dun. But here's the other thing about the cows, buying the cows, is you need a barn in order to buy the cows. It used to be you could just buy them and leave them around till later to do that. But yeah, we're so far away from this. This is a later food thing later on. It'd probably let us build a barn, to be honest. Yeah, it will let us build a barn. This produces so much meat. We're already doing a great job at producing meat. We could actually start doing some orchards, though, which would be nice for taking care of the scurvy. And if we harvest orchard fruits in the fall, like late summer and fall, like peaches, pears, and apples, then that could be a sort of a food that can spoil, but at least although some of the apples might be able to last for quite a while in the right conditions, picked at the right time and in the right conditions. Peaches, I'm assuming they don't last too long, unless you pick them early or something, I guess. There's techniques there. But this can be, we need clay for this, but this could be a food source, like a something to combat the meat, all the get people some vitamin C. So that's something we could work on. The mill and the bakery is something that we're definitely going to want to do. Of course, we need to get this field going. The thing is, the grain is it's very intensive to the soil. So we'll see how you actually need to, in this game, there is a much more in-depth system for growing crops. Much more in-depth system for growing crops. Where did that wolf come from? Probably somewhere out here, although I don't even want to send anyone on a mission. We've explored enough for now. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Cool. I don't need to see this anymore. I know you've arrived. Thanks. Why is this stuck? I guess when they leave, they'll just be gone. 3. I mean, we're slowly. I'll just wait. You can actually see that the prices, the traders come and the prices will kind of vary. I mean, the different traders will come, but this person happens to pay a normal amount for gold nuggets. We could wait gold ore. We could wait for someone to pay like this. They're willing to pay a lot for shoes. To be fair. They're willing to pay a lot for shoes, so that's a premium. So if we get these shoes transferred over before they leave in 19 days, maybe that would be worthwhile. I'm not sure. In fact, actually, just opening this closed that, which is nice. So I guess we had to right-clicking and didn't do it for some reason. But so yeah, I know there's a merchant. Cool, cool story. So we should have a well right here. In fact, we have a well here. We have enough wells that will be okay. Having a well over here could be important, though, in this industrial area. So actually, I think I'm just going to tell him to make a well out here. Not really much of a water bonus or anything, but the well out here is really just going to be servicing the workers and taking care of any fires in that area. It's not that critical. That's a smokehouse, actually. So that's something that hopefully we can keep around. We have room to grow the population. We said that we really did need to do that because we're kind of struggling here on... Whoa. Miners have just gone up to 4. Where's the other mining? What's the other mining that people are now doing? Yeah, we have people working here in clay. I just want one person working in clay. Oh, 5 new villagers immigrated to town and someone was born. Holy cow. See, we don't even have control over that. Like I'm over here struggling because we don't have quite enough pop. And yet 5 people just literally magically show up. And now we already have 8 laborers. Like there's just the tension. Like I'm like, oh man, what do we have to turn off? What do we have to balance? How do we have to, stretch our workforce and prioritize like important parts of the labor, right? Nah. Game's just like, here's 5 more people. Build a couple of houses, here's 5 more people. Here's a 6th person if you're willing to wait for them to grow up. You know what I mean? I mean, eventually these infants will, like there is that system of birthing children and infants and letting them age up into working, into the working demographic, right? Like that is in the game, but the vast majority of the people that you get are they're just random people, immigrants that but it's not, it's the fact that the immigrants they just appear. They're too often and they're just magical, and it just, 2 people die to a wolf attack and 5 people just show up the next day. It's just, that tension just isn't there. And I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want that tension, like you have in Banished with the population management. So it looks like we're getting very close to having this field finally getting completed, like 7 episodes later. It's taking forever for that to get done. I think for our first field, we're just going to do it as just generic food. Like we're just going to be growing food that we can just eat, like sort of like food that we can eat. I don't know. Do we try to do a grain rotation? Grain just has, look at that. So this is let's set up this crop field, right? Let's take a minute. And this is one of the things in the game that they've gone in and they've added some depth and they've expanded upon Banished. It's pretty basic. You just get a field, and depending on how big the field is, requires how many people work there, and you just assign it to lettuce or whatever. They just make a bunch of lettuce, they make a bunch of flax, so they just do that year after year after year. It's kind of silly. It's actually kind of silly and Banished. Um, it's an obvious thing for improvement. So a couple things. There's a number of things. So it's automatically set up as 3 years. It's a 3 year rotation. So you can have a 3 year crop rotation. Yeah, you can't actually go above 5, but I guess this is how we can disassign workers. And when I open this up, these are the different crops that we can plant. Why all of these are available to you at the beginning of the game, I don't know, because again, that's one of the fun things to trade for in Banished. Even though Banished doesn't have a money economy, there is trading in Banished, and it's interesting because you're always trying to trade for new kinds of crops, new kinds of vegetables, and new kinds of livestock, right? Like, and that's a lot of fun to build up surplus so that you can barter. It's more of a barter system, and you can barter for unique seeds and unique things. In this game, it's just like, no, you just have everything. Now, the way that the crop rotation is designed, you kind of need some variety at the beginning, or otherwise you'd just be kind of like, it wouldn't be good. That would really prioritize. You want to talk about prioritizing trading, it would be only giving someone a couple of these to mess around with in the early game, and then have to really trade to get more kinds of seeds and stuff. But and for now, you just kind of get everything. I think eventually you take some of these and you push them into trade only, and you make it so people have to trade for this stuff, and you add more kinds of crops that have more, uh, you add more crops, because you can see these crops have so many different qualities to them, right? The yield of the crop, the frost tolerance, the heat tolerance, the rocky resilience of the rocky, whether the soil is rocky or not, right? Like we can see this field was built 31% rockiness here. Now for some crops that doesn't matter. The beans are perfectly fine with some rocky soil, you know what I mean? I don't know if they prefer it, but they're fine with it. Whereas carrots, I can already, just as someone who's gardened before, carrots hate rocky soil, because literally, like the rocks actually divert. You get really goofy looking carrots if you were to grow them in rocky soil. I'm actually surprised that rockiness isn't even like way lower than that, to be honest, because carrots are like carrots and beets, and just any kind of any kind of root vegetable is really notoriously doesn't like rocks. Um, I'm just looking through. There's some of these crops do actually have the ability to suppress weeds. So the clover is not really a crop. You can't really eat this. It says it has a crop yield. I don't know what you do with the yield of clover. You don't eat anything from this yet, at least. Maybe this could eventually be used to feed animals and stuff. I don't know. I don't know if eventually this will have a use, but right now I don't think this really has much of a use. Regardless, though, this is like a maintenance crop, because you can see it impacts fertility plus 3% for the time that it's growing. So this is a really nice crop for getting back additional crop fertility, because some of these crops just drain the soil, and just doing a basic rotation like this wheat destroys the soil such that there's like you'd have to do multiple years of beneficial crops to kind of overtake that wheat, like the negativity of the wheat there. It's kind of insane. The nice thing is wheat can last a long time in a granary, and then of course you can turn it into fresh bread, and that's kind of a unique food source that's separate from meat and vegetables, right? That's a grain food source. That's a unique kind of food source. Man, there's a lot of weeds here too. That'll massively affect the yield. Yeah. Flax is, of course, a for making linen clothing and stuff. We'll want some of that eventually. Also has a very negative effect on fertility. Yeah, so some of these crops are very hard. Cabbage is just a good green, right, to give people greens like veggies and stuff, but it affects fertility pretty negatively as well. So the question is, do we want to try to push into bread production? Let's just hypothetically, let's get this sucker down. The wheat though it doesn't have as much frost resistance. A little bit. It definitely has some, but it's mostly heat tolerance. So let's actually flip these around. Have that be the first crop. Have this be the second crop. Now this is a -6 on what is effectively 4 5 month 5. Yeah, almost Yeah, five in a quarter months worth of crop growing. Whereas this is a +3 for 3 months. So we would have to literally. Well, that won't fit in there? Mm, that doesn't fit. Okay. So these three here, this is +3 for 10 months almost. This is -6 for 5.5 months. So this doesn't even fully, this literally doesn't even fully. I thought you could fit one of these suckers in here. It just barely doesn't fit. They might have tweaked that or rebalanced that or something. Man, that's a bummer. Okay. Now the other thing is the beans in the peas will actually add some too. Now the peas have no heat resistance, so they need to be planted in the early, and then this has a fair amount of heat tolerance but no crop tolerance. So these will actually be, so these are +1 fertility and +1 fertility for the peas and the beans. So this is effectively 5, 6, 7, 7 months of +1. So that kind of makes this -5 for 5 months with a little bit of change left over. And this is, we're saying this is about +3 for 10, so +6. So basically this should be, the fertility for this rotation here should be net positive. The only thing is we don't have, well, we don't have a maintenance. And we do want to take care of the rock. What the maintenance does, okay, hold on. The maintenance, what the maintenance does is the maintenance gets rid of some of the rockiness and it gets rid of some of the weeds. And we can see that we have a serious, oh, wait a second. Oh, there we go. There we go. So that's something that fits there like that. So actually, could we do that 2 seasons in a row? Okay. Okay, so this is buffered, right? The rotation is buffered here by the clover. So this is all buffered. So this is still 3 clover. These are 2 peas, and it's 2 maintenance. I like that. That's a good. That looks like a good field, and that is going to give us some grain. But the thing is, this grain's not really going to be able to plant in time. It's not going to be able to do much this season, anyways. In fact, actually, is there a way to just say skip? Yeah, you know what? Just clear this. Don't do. I don't want to do anything this season with this field, to be honest. Actually, we could, we could let's just do some maintenance on the field. Just do maintenance for the end of the year because we're kind of starting mid-season. So that is how you do the crops, right? The wheat is useful because it makes bread. That's why we're concerned about it. Additionally, you have barley or rye here. You have buckwheat. Some of these other things might be used to make other things. I don't know what buckwheat is used for. I don't know if you can make buckwheat bread right now. I'm not sure. I don't know if this is used as fodder potentially as well. I think some of these unfortunately don't really have much of a purpose at the moment. The peas and the beans, if we weren't doing wheat is such a negative on the fertility impact, but if we weren't doing wheat, we would probably do a rotation with the root vegetables. The root vegetables are just good food that stores, right? Root vegetables can keep, and it's a low impact on fertility, but it is some impact on fertility. But we can rotate those in with peas and beans. So peas and beans can combine really nicely with the root vegetables, and you can kind of create a rotation like that. And if we had done that, we would be filling this with a lot more edible crops, and this field as a whole would produce a lot more food. But instead we're going to do grains so that we can actually do bakery, like bake bread, which is kind of like a higher tier of food. It's like a higher level of food. Now, one thing I'd like to be able to do is actually add clay to the soil. Because as we can see here, this soil is very sandy. And well, I'm guessing carrots probably really like that. It seems like most of these crops that we have would prefer it to be more clay. So the other thing we do is we could add clay to the soil. We are producing clay, but very little is being produced at the moment. Very little is being produced at the moment. How are we doing on population now? Well, now that we've added some folk, maybe we will open up a slot here. And maybe we will go back and open up some slots, like the worker camp. Maybe we could have one person working at the worker camp. Just one is fine for now. 2 people working there. Two. Are we doing? We're doing 2 at the clay pit. Oof, we're getting crazy there. Let's do 2 at the sew, and let's go back to 4 at the saw. You can't have enough planks. You really cannot have enough planks. I am going to disable this building though, however, while we have so much firewood right now. We don't have enough just wood. So I'd rather just, yeah, let's actually have a second person working at the work camp to get wood. And I think everything is operational right now except for the woodcutter, which we just have so much actual firewood right now. I'm not worried about it. 200 firewood and banished wouldn't be that much. Houses take like 40 to 50 and they burn that in the winter. In this game, it seems like they use like a very small amount. I don't know if it's like 1 firewood per month. I don't know if that's actually literally the units. Like it tells you like, oh, it's like you have 21 months worth of food. It doesn't tell you how many units of food you have individually, but it tells you this is enough food to feed people for approximately 20 months, right? 10 of it's going to spoil within a year, but some of it actually won't. So like 11 of those months worth of food are actually like long term, can keep long term, which is really cool. So we have tons of food, but it doesn't tell you that, it doesn't do that conversion to say this is 7 months worth of firewood, which I think actually would be kind of useful to know that. I think that would be kind of useful to know. So in order to get these buildings leveled up, right, they have everything, they literally have everything they need. They have 2 types of food. They have herbs. They have everything. They have everything they need. We just need planks. The thing they don't have is desirability, is only 12%. The desirability here is very low. So how do we boost desirability? Well, a school is a big one. Just building the school here would get us quite a bit. That actually would hit all the houses. The bakery is another one. And I think the bakery would probably have to be functional, though. It makes sense to me the bakery would have to be functional in order for people to benefit from it and appreciate it. But maybe, I don't know, I'm not... That actually hits all the houses. I like that. I'm going to set this down and I'm going to say don't build, though. Halt the building of it. Because I don't think we're actually ready. We're certainly not ready to be making bread. But I like where that's getting placed. So wait, how much desirability was that going to add? Like 5%. 3 to 5%. It's kind of unfortunate. Even if it's within the radius, it's still a diminishing effect based on how far it is. Which is like, to me, that's kind of rough because it's very hard to, you know, like there's always going to be houses in the outer bits that are getting like way less impact. This will be like 10% though, 8 to 10%. Build one of these on each side. This is just a park. Large park won't fit here, unfortunately. We didn't leave room for it. Put a big park there. Wow, that large park? Wait a second, what the heck? That's actually going to reach that? I didn't realize that would reach that far. Holy cow. So yeah, the large park plus the school, that gets it up to 23. What is the school going to do here? 25 by itself? Yeah, so the large park plus the school is going to make all of these into tier 2. That's our goal. That's our goal. Just kind of trying to figure out where do we build this that it's going to look nice. That requires a lot of clay and a lot of gold, like gold on hand. Now we should have some gold in the trade post still, right? Let's move some more of this into the global supply. Of course, we're making a little bit of gold too. I've halted the production of that, and then the big park is going to cost us 500 gold. But I do like the idea of building that large park. I really like the idea of building this here, and then that alone. Let's pause it though. That's going to be 500 gold. We don't have the gold for that. That is for sure. Man, it is taking forever to get these gold nuggets out of here. What the heck? 14 produced last year. Let's do a little better than that, please. If we had the 25 clay, I'd say we could start building the school. How much would it be for like a cheaper park? 150. For a medium garden? It doesn't add much. A garden trail. 3%. We'll see. We'll see when we build the. We'll try to build the school. Go from there. Of course, the healing hut also increases desirability quite a bit. So because we're going to be growing, we will eventually be growing grain here. We're going to need a granary. Tucking that into a place where we wouldn't really have room to build anything anyways, I think makes sense. And we're going to need a windmill. And that windmill is going to use our single heavy... We have one heavy tool right now that we purchased for a lot of gold. And that one heavy tool... Whoops. Let's move that into the main supply. Move it into the global supply so we can actually use it. And I'm really not that worried about... Oh. Oof. Okay, it has to be fairly close to negatively affect the desirability. Like, that's nowhere near. But I think we still probably move this. And you could actually get a field in here, potentially. Let's move it up to... I think this is far enough. Yeah, that's quite far. We could still build additional houses here, and they still wouldn't be within the range of the windmill. That'll be okay. This, though, I'm not going to build it quite yet. Let's wait on that. The heavy tool does eventually wear out, so I don't really want this to be up and pretending to be functioning before it's time. So the rockiness has come down, the weed level has come down because of these two maintenance periods. Now we're going to get rid of these eventually, and we'll just have these two maintenance periods. Over time, I believe the weed level should come down, the rockiness should come down over time. We're almost up to the amount of clay that we need to finish the school. We have the amount of planks to finish the school, so it's just a matter of getting those things together and doing that. We're up to 46 total population. If we're going to grow the pop, we're going to need to add more houses. And we did some flattening over here to potentially add some houses over here. Now, I don't think the large park will connect in with these ones out on these edges over here. Oh, we also talked about, you know what, well, we have we have the infrastructure over here. I'm going to try to sneak a couple more. Just with the existing infrastructure that we have. You can kind of see how this flattening worked. I'm going to try to flatten that and see what it does, and I'm going to try to flatten that and see what it does. But I think alternatively, we actually just need to start creating a new community somewhere. So it looks like a flat area here. Kind of ties into this industrial site here. Looks like some areas for some farming out here. not sure where the second village is going to be. I mean, maybe could be on the other side of this stinky area, or it could be sort of up here, sort of. Yeah, I like the idea of it being over here. There's a hunting cabin here though, but I guess we're going to be just kind of encroaching on that, huh? I'm going to build myself a shack out here just because. Because I think this will be the corner to what will be another neighborhood in this area. I think this will be a neighborhood here. Things are moving along. We're getting this school built. We have exactly the 4 clay in the storage that needs to come down and finish that out, which is good. Getting another actual storage yard up here could be good too, because there's so much of that kind of raw material being built up here. But a lot of it, I guess maybe if the wagon's going to take it from the site to the storage yard, then we want the storage yard where those resources are mostly needed. So maybe building another one actually, maybe having them further away makes more sense. Well, we're going along here. Okay, we're going to come in here and we're going to edit this and replace this with the wheat so that the next time this comes around, this will just be doing wheat. Now we're going to start growing some peas, do some maintenance, do some more clove, so on and so forth, and this will kind of work around. The weed level is going down. Fertility, it's saying, is going to be going down. Shouldn't be. Fertility should be going up this year. All of these plants are helping the fertility. I guess it's saying, I don't know why it's saying a downward arrow. Rockiness has come way down with all that work that we just did. And of course, like I'm saying, we do want to try to get the soil to be more clay-ish. Add more clay to the soil. As we get surplus clay, we'll be doing that. Guys, thanks everybody for being here, hanging out for this episode. I really appreciate it. Of course, there's a playlist link down below. Will help get you to the next episode, because YouTube can sometimes recommend these things out of order and just be weird about that. So thanks everybody for being here. I really appreciate it. If you guys have questions or thoughts or comments or anything, I read all that stuff and respond to most of it. So just leave that stuff in the comments and I'll get to it. Guys, thanks everybody for being here. I will see you guys in the next episode as we continue to build up this village.